Hey there, I'm Bhakti. So let's get started or let's go with the new chapter that is chapter number 1 from the same book. Well, the chapter number 1 is they don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. So this is what the first thing that mentally strong people don't do. They don't waste their time feeling sorry for themselves. Self pity is easily the most destructive of the non pharmaceutical what is it? Narcotis. It is addictive, gives momentary pleasure and separates the victim from reality. Self pity, to have pity on ourselves that okay, I'm doing so much hard work, I'm like this, I'm like that. So like it is most destructive thing in our life that we're doing, because if you're addictive to something, then at that time we say okay, what in our next years of our life, then we need to do hard work only. Let's enjoy our life again. We say like this, but we shouldn't do pity on ourselves. All right. John Gardner. During the weeks that followed Jack's accident, his mother couldn't stop talking about horrible incident. Every day, she recounted the story about how both of Jack's legs were broken when he was hit by a school bus. She felt guilty that she wasn't there to protect him, and seeing him in a wheelchair for several weeks was almost more than she could bear. Although doctors had predicted a complete recovery, she repeatedly warned Jack that his legs may never fully heal. She wanted him to be aware that he may not be able to play soccer or run around like the other kids ever again, just in case there was a problem. Although his doctors had medically cleared him to return to school, his parents decided that Jack's mother would quit her job and homeschool for the remainder of the year. They felt that seeing and hearing school buses each day might trigger too many bad memories. So they also wanted to spare him from having too much idly from his wheelchair as his friends played at recess. They hoped that staying home would help Jack heal faster, both emotionally and physically. Jack usually completed his homeschool work in the mornings, and he spent his afternoons and evenings watching TVs and playing video games. Okay, he completed his homeschool and he spent his time afternoons while watching TVs. Within a few weeks, his parents noticed that his mood seemed to change. A normally upbeat and happy child, Jack became irritable and sad. His parents grew concerned that the accident may have traumatized, traumatized him even more than they imagined. They pursued therapy in hopes it could help Jack deal with his emotional scars. Jack's parents took him to a well known therapist with expertise in childhood trauma. The therapist had received the referral from Jack's pediatrician, something. So pediatrician. It's this, job or something maybe. Doctor who deals with diseases of children. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now I know. So she knew a little bit about Jack's experience prior to meeting him. When Jack's mother wheeled him into the therapist's office, Jack stared silently at Flores. His mother began by saying, "We're having such a hard time since this terrible accident. It's really ruined our lives and caused a lot of emotional problems for Jack. He is just not the same little boy." To his mother's surprise, the therapist didn't respond with sympathy. Instead, she enthusiastically said, "Boy, have I been looking forward to meeting you, Jack. I've never met a kid who could beat a school bus. You have to tell me, how did you manage to get into a flight with a school bus and when?" Fight. For the first for the first time since accident, Jack smiled. Over the next few weeks, Jack worked with his therapist on making his own book. He appropriately named it how to build a school bus. He created a wonderful story about how he managed to fight a school bus and escape with only few broken bones. He embellished on a story by describing how he grabbed hold of muffler swung himself around and protected the majority of his body from getting hit by the school bus. Despite the exaggerated details, the main part of the story remained the same. He survived because he's a tough kid. Jack concluded with Jack concluded his book with a self-portrait. He drew himself sitting in a wheelchair wearing a superhero cap. The therapist included Jack's parents in the treatment. She helped them to see how fortunate they were that Jack survived only a few broken bones. She encouraged his parents to stop feeling sorry for Jack. She recommended them to treat him like a mentally and physically tough kid who was capable of overcoming great adversity. Adversity maybe means challenges. Yep, difficulties, problems. Even if his leg didn't heal properly, she wanted them to focus on what Jack could still accomplish in life, not what the accident would prevent him from being able to do. The therapist and Jack's parents worked with the school faculty and the staff to prepare for Jack's return to school. In addition to special accommodations, he would need he had need because he was still a wheelchair, still in a wheelchair. They wanted to ensure that the other students and teachers didn't pity Jack. They arranged for Jack to share his books with his classmates so that he could tell them how he beat the school bus and show them that there was no reason to feel sorry for him. So self pity should be avoided. Self pity party. Okay. We all experience pain and sorrow in life. And although sadness is a normal, healthy emotion, dwelling on your sorrow and misfortune is self-destructive. Do you respond positively to any of the points below? You tend to think your problems are worse than anyone else. So how you react? Yeah, I'm so misfortunate. Okay. If it weren't for bad luck, you're pretty sure you have done none at all. Problems seem to add up for you at much faster rate than anyone else. Yeah, like this is the most common thing that everyone thinks. You know, you're fairly certain that no one else truly understand how hard your life really is. Yep, we think it. Like I think my life is fairly. It's too hard for me. Really, it's quite harder for me than other people, and others are not having this type of life. You sometimes choose to withdraw from leisure activities and social engagement so you can stay home and think about yourself. Yeah. No leisure activities, you try to avoid it. You are most likely to tell people what went wrong during your day rather than what went well. Yeah. We often tell the bad things first. You often complain about things not being fair with you. Yep. You struggle to find anything to be grateful for sometimes. You think that other people are blessed with easier lives, don't you? You sometimes wonder if the world is out to get you. Can you see yourself in some of the examples above? Self-pity can consume you until it eventually changes your thoughts and behaviors. But you can choose to take control even when you can't alter your circumstances. You can alter your attitude. Why we feel sorry for ourselves? If self-pity is so destructive, why do we do it in the first place? And why is it sometimes so easy and even comforting to indulge in a pity party? Indulge, let me see the meaning. To allow yourself to have or to do something for pleasure. Okay, to do something for pleasure. So come, yeah, we mostly try to comfort ourselves. We indulge things. Okay, we indulge things for comforting ourselves, right? Don't we do don't we watch television shows for our convenience, for our happiness? So pity was Jack's parents' defense mechanism to protect their son and themselves from the dangers. He chose to remain focused on what he couldn't do as a way to shield him from having faced any more potential problems. Understandably, they worried about his safety more than ever. They didn't want him to get sorry, they didn't want him to be out of their sight, and they were concerned about the emotional reaction he might have to seeing a school bus again. It was only a matter of time before the pity poured and Jack turned into his own self-belief. It's so easy to fall into the self-pity trap. As long as you feel sorry for yourself, you can delay any circumstances that will bring you face to face with your real fears, and you can avoid taking any responsibility for your actions. Feeling sorry for yourself can buy time. Instead of taking action or moving forward, exaggerating how bad your situation is justifies why you shouldn't do it anything to improve it. People often use self-pity as a way to gain attention, like uh, playing the poor me card may result in some kind and gentle words from the others, at least initially. For people who fear rejection, self-pity can be indirect way of gaining help by sharing a voice metal, is voice metal, in hopes it will attract some assistance. Unfortunately, misery loves company. Yep, this is a very, very, very important thing. Misery loves company. Means extremely bad situation, the miserable life that you are leading, it loves company. No, like in each and every person's life, misery feels like affection and all. How would you give to again? Sometimes self pity becomes a uh, bra- bragging right. What is bragging? I don't know. I haven't heard those. Temporary position. What do you mean by bragging? The opportunity to speak proudly because you have done something impressive. Opportunity to speak something proudly because you have done something impressive. A conversation can turn into a contest with the person who has experienced the most trauma earning the badge of victory. Self pity can also provide a reason to avoid responsibility, telling your boss how bad your life is may stem from hopes and less will be expected from you. Sometimes self pity becomes an act of defiance. I heard defense. I haven't heard about defiance. Fian. Defiant means full of or showing a disposition to challenge, open refusal to obey somebody, आदेश मानना, खुली आवाज से, to act of defense. Okay. Where is that word? Becomes an act of defense. Act of defense means you do something very openly, independently, whatever you want. To do whatever you think, what's there in your mind. It's almost as if we assume that something will change if we dig it in our heel and remind the universe that we deserve better. But that's not how the world works. There isn't a higher being or human being for the matter who will swoop in and make sure you're all dealt a fair hand in life. Okay, I know that you're dealt. So that means deal, past form, third form, and swoop means to see something from you. Hmm? The problem with feeling sorry for yourself. Feeling sorry for yourself is self-destructive. It leads to new problems and can have serious consequences. Instead of feeling grateful that Jack survived the accident, his parents worried about what the accident took away from them. As a result, they allowed the accident to take away even more. That's not to say they weren't loving parents. Their behavior seemed from a desire to keep their son safe. However, the more they pitied Jack, the more negatively it affected his mood. Indulging in self-pity. Indulging does not say you do something for your pleasure. Indulging in self-pity hinders living a full life in following ways. It's a waste of time, of course. Feeling sorry for yourself requires a lot of mental energy and there's nothing to change the situation. Even when you can't fix the problem, you can make choices to cope with life's obstacles in a positive way. Feeling sorry for yourself won't move you any closer to a solution. It leads to more negative emotions. Once you allow it to take hold, self-pity will ignite a flurry of other negative emotions. It can lead to anger, resentment, loneliness, and other feelings that fuel more negative thoughts. It can become a self-fulfilling uh, prophecy. Prophecy. Feeling of self-pity can lead to living a painful, pitiful life. Living a pitiful life, not painful. When you feel sorry for yourself, it's likely your performance at your best. As a result, you may experience more problems and increased failures, which will breed more feeling of self. It prevents you from dealing with other emotions. Self-pity gets in the way of dealing with grief, sadness, anger, and other emotions. It can stall your progress from healing and moving forward because self-pity keeps the focus on why things should be different rather than accepting the situation for what it is. The cause you, the causes you to overlook the good in your life. If five good things and one bad thing happen in a day, self-pity will cause you to focus only on the negative. When you feel sorry for yourself, you will miss out on the positive aspects of life. It interferes with relationships. A victim mentality is not an attractive characteristic. Complaining about how bad your life is will likely be on people rather quickly. No one ever says what I really like about her is the fact that she always feels sorry for herself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like always get up and fight back. Remember the three-pronged approach to achieve a mental health. To elevate feeling self-pity, you need to change your pitiful behavior and forbid yourself from indulging in pitiful thoughts. Indulging, it means to do something for your, like, in order to do something for your pleasure. For Jack, this means that he couldn't spend all his time at home playing video games and watching TV. He needed to be around with other kids of his age and return to some of his previous activities that he was still able to do, like to go to school. His parents also changed their thinking and began to view Jack as a survivor rather than a victim. Once they changed their thoughts about their son and accident, they were able to exchange self-pity with gratitude. Alright, so like this was enough for today and we'll continue with the half part or the remaining part in the next video.